Still embarrassed that you sound like a foreigner when you speak Portuguese? Come closer and let me spill even more secrets on how to sound like a local in Portugal. I can guarantee you won't have heard this one before. Good pronunciation is so important. It's the difference between you being understood and sparking a valuable conversation and getting a blank stare. It definitely happened to me a lot when I was learning Portuguese all those years ago, and there is nothing more embarrassing. But now people are shocked that my accent is so good, and that is thanks to hacks like this. If you're excited to get these tips today, give this video a like and subscribe if you want practical Portuguese lessons in plain English every single week from me, Liz, a native English speaker who can truly relate to your pain of learning Portuguese. So you may have seen my recent video on how we can use mistakes the Portuguese make when speaking English to improve the way that we speak Portuguese. Well, the same can work for pronunciation. We all have an accent when we speak a foreign language, and the Portuguese are no different when they speak English. This is because we are applying the pronunciation rules of our own language to the language that we are learning. So here's the trick. If we can pay close attention to the letters and sounds that the Portuguese kind of mispronounce, then we can apply these rules when we are speaking Portuguese. Is it starting to make sense? Let's look at an example so you can see what I mean. Have you heard a Portuguese person say, "How are you?" This is because an H in Portuguese should be silent. So often when I hear my students say horas, hospital, I have to tell them it's wrong. We want to make sure that we can't hear that H. It should be horas, hospital. So by remembering our Portuguese friends and neighbors might say, "How are you?" we can remember that the H must be silent in Portuguese. See how it works? Let's do another. The letter I in Portuguese causes a lot of confusion because when we say it out loud in the alphabet, we pronounce it E, which of course we think is our letter E, but that's E. So we're already confused, and we need to remember that the Portuguese I sounds like our E sound. So how can we remember this? Have you maybe heard a Portuguese person say, "E is very interesting"? So can you see how all the I's in that sentence sounded like an E? So we need to apply that when we see an I in Portuguese. For example, ficar, princesa. Is this helpful? Let me know in the comments if so. And if you need more help with your Portuguese pronunciation, do not hesitate to go and download my free pronunciation guide. I will link it in the description. It's going to help you with 7 of the most difficult sounds in Portuguese and has accompanying audio, so you'll be sounding like a local in no time. Next up, the letter L. I heard a Brazilian comedian joking once that the Portuguese say the letter L like they have honey on the roof of their mouth that they want to taste. Have you met Miguel? Yeah, this is exactly how it sounds, and it has a name. It's actually called the dark L, and the sound does come from further back in your throat. You see how in English when we pronounce an L, it's very much on the tip of our tongue. Okay, so that's the different sound that we want to make. So have you heard the Portuguese say their L's in this way? The dog is friendly. The children are playing. Okay, that L is happening much further back. So hopefully this is going to help you remember that when you say words in Portuguese with an L, that's how it should sound. For example, late, bolo. Final sound then, the letter U. This is one that my students get wrong all the time because they are applying the English sound, a Y sound. So for example, YouTube, Portuguese, yeah, that's how we would say it in English. But how would the Portuguese say in their accent? They would say YouTube, Portuguese. Can you hear the difference? So we need to remember that we want an oo sound. And if we have a T in front of it, we're not going to add that ch sound that we would have Portuguese, right? We want it to sound like a tu. So for example, Português, particular. So I hope that helps give you yet another strategy for improving your Portuguese pronunciation. If you enjoyed this lesson and you want more, I want to personally invite you to my free lesson for beginners. It's my ultimate quick start guide to getting conversational in Portuguese, and the link to register is in the description. I promise it's the best 60 minutes you will spend learning Portuguese. I'll be back next week with more tips and tutorials to help you get confident and conversational in Portuguese, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Ciao for now.